Everybody makes mistakes, even Rockstar Games. Sometimes it's better to forgive and forget, and sometimes you can't. Hi folks, it's Falcon, and today on gameranx, 5 Rockstar Games mistakes they want you to forget. Kicking things off with number 5, one day back in 2017, Open4, an extremely popular modding tool for Grand Theft Auto 5, suddenly said they were shutting down due to a cease and desist that Take-Two Interactive filed with them. Open4 said, yes, we can go to court and again prove that modding is fair use and our actions are legal. Yes, we could, but we decided not to. Going to court will take at least a few months of our time and huge amounts of efforts, and at best, we'll get absolutely nothing. Spending time just to restore the status quo is really unproductive, and all the money in the world can't compensate the loss of time. So we decided to agree with their claims, and we're stopping distribution of Open4. Now this is not good for modders, of course. It stops them from deploying mods through Open4, the incredibly popular modding tool that lots of people were using at the time, but it also is a bit of a blow to the credibility of mods as a whole. Rockstar Games said this: Take-Two's actions were not specifically targeting single-player mods. Unfortunately, Open4 enables recent malicious mods that allow harassment of players and interfere with the GTA Online experience for everybody. We are working to figure out how we can continue to support this creative community without negatively impacting our players. Which is all well and good. I understand where they're coming from when you're running a live services game and people are modding and stuff that they really shouldn't be, stuff that ends up being detrimental towards everybody's gaming experience, not just modifying or enhancing their own for their own sake, but actually doing this at the expense of other people. Still, it seems like throwing the baby out with the bathwater. If there's one thing we know, it's that cheaters are going to be a problem in any live services game, and I say this as a person who really hates cheating in live services, but it kind of goes with the territory. Especially in a situation where there is some element of status or competition, it's expected. It's normal even. And instead of working on things that could stop the cheating, to go after the modding tool that the vast majority of people use for legitimate purposes, I mean, it's not a good look. It's very authoritarian, and it's definitely something that if they did go to court, would not go Rockstar's way, and yet there they went, just taking away a popular modding tool cause bad guys. Again, they could have just worked on anti-cheating measures. Instead, they screwed over the modding community. Not cool. After a few weeks of intense hatred from the entire user base, Open4 was reinstated and Take-Two agreed not to pursue legal action against mod stuff. So that's cool, except it would have been really nice if they just did that off the bat instead of pissed everybody off, because like I said, we ain't forgetting this one. Moving on to number 4, Agent is a stealth game which was in development way back in 2003 for the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, and teased in July 2007 and announced in 2009. It's a title that was talked about a lot, but never happened. The last time the trademark was renewed was way back in 2017. It was a game that was set during the Cold War in the late 1970s and kinda seemed like Grand Theft James Bond. Although it's reasonable to assume it probably would have drawn a lot of comparisons to Hitman, it also had a pretty unique setting, in that it was going to set itself as a period piece. Was it going to basically be a James Bondy type thing? The logo certainly made some implications in that direction, and given that it's been floating around since the early 2000s, it's reasonable to assume that it might have had some of the memory of GoldenEye 64 embedded into why we're making this game. If you've ever looked at the concept art that is leaked out over the years, it's a pretty interesting looking title in that they go for a full-on, hey, guy in a suit blowing up car in the middle of the night in the countryside, which reeks of the James Bond movies from the 1970s in particular, and evokes exactly what you might expect of a game like this from Rockstar. Given how heavy they've been on cultural satire through the years, it could be that they've had their sights on that genre for a very long time and just never got to it. Or perhaps they did work and weren't satisfied with it. Perhaps it didn't do enough to differentiate itself from Hitman, like I said. Whatever the case, it certainly is interesting, and if at some point we heard some new news on it, I wouldn't be not excited. I think that's a great target for Rockstar to set its sights on. I would love to play the version of Grand Theft Auto built entirely around stealth. That would be great. Unfortunately, as of at least right now, it really seems as though that is not in the cards. But hey, James Bond played a lot of cards, and I'm sure went up against a lot of opponents that didn't exactly care what was in the cards, so maybe they'll do something? I don't know. It'd be cool. Moving on to number 3, let's talk about Grand Theft Auto Online and Red Dead Online's Economies. Oh boy! You see, when Grand Theft Auto Online launched, it was, well, bad. It was unbalanced and weird, and as time went on, it actually got worse. The separation between unpaid players and paid players became much more pronounced over time, and we've even made videos specifically about how the game itself is way too grindy, and in recent months they've even introduced a casino, as in a casino. As if shark cards weren't enough, as if a pay-to-win scheme that wasn't just in your face, obvious, with the fact that there's sharks that are sharking you wasn't enough. They brought the premium currency nonsense into Red Dead Online in the form of gold bars. Oh, there's gold in them thar hills. Oh wait, nope. It's just something you can buy. On top of that, you can buy stuff easier if you've got it, and stuff costs less that is useful. A can of beans costs more than a gold wedding ring, which doesn't make sense. That's silly. It's bad. It's dumb. It's not something that anyone would want. It's ridiculous, in fact. And it's something that keeps bothering me more as time passes. Because sometimes when you're playing like Fortnite, you've got these ridiculous monetization options. You're like, fine, it's Fortnite. Who cares? You're playing this game for something very specific, and whatever, you know exactly what you're getting. But Red Dead Redemption's open world is basically like one of the most artful, detailed, and amazing open worlds in gaming history, and the online version of it is filled with microtransactions, and that just feels really cheap. Moving on to number 2, when Rockstar said they were going to do single-player expansions for Grand Theft Auto 5 and then never did. For me, this one is just impossible to forget. It will never go away. I wanted expansions. I wanted to spend more time in this world, meet more people, do more things, shatter new barriers in crime. And I didn't want to do it online. I wanted to do it with voice acting and story and all of these great characters that they'd come up with in these wacky scenarios. None of that crap is there, and it bothers me a lot. And it would probably bother me less if they hadn't said, oh yeah, we're doing that. There's gonna be story mode expansions. Yeah. And it just went on and on. We made videos about this topic. I find it hard to retread the entire thing at the moment, just because we've talked in depth about how this kinda sucks. And you know, it kinda seems like Rockstar agrees with me. They said it wasn't a conscious decision that they didn't do single-player add-ons. They said that, as a company, we love single-player more than anything and believe in it absolutely, and then basically repeated that 3 or 4 times while saying, it just kinda got out of our hands. It was so in-depth, it was hard not to say it was complete. And I'm just like, I wanted more though. It's not that Grand Theft Auto Online or Red Dead Online are terrible. They're just not a single player game. There's a lot more that single player games have to offer, and again, this is stuff that they specifically said. I don't even have to say this stuff, they said it in their excuse. They even said that for storytelling in the sense of immersion, that multiplayer doesn't generally rival single player, which, of course, I know that. That's kind of the driving force behind me buying the single player game, and I would have bought more. Finally, landing us at number 1, just not caring about the PC like they should. Of their 2 last very large games, neither of them have been out on PC day 1. Grand Theft Auto 5 took a very long time to get there, and Red Dead Redemption is not on PC as of this recording. In fact, it was only in June that Strauss Zelnick, Take-Two's chief executive, even said something that's vaguely not hostile towards having a PC version. And what he said really wasn't all that positive. Instead, it was kinda warm, maybe lukewarm, maybe not even that. He just said there is no downside to releasing Red Dead Redemption 2 on PC. But it's still not there, and it's several months after that, so keep that in mind while you think about it. Even the best get things wrong. What do you think? Leave us a comment, let us know. If you like this video, don't forget to click like, and if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, subscribing. So click subscribe, and don't forget to click the notification bell. As always, we thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconHero, and we'll see you next time right here on GameRanx.